Oh, that didn't fade out. Hey guys, welcome. We are live. This is day
Yeah.
6 of 7 of Pantastic Week. Happy Pantastic Week. We're so glad to have you with us. My name is Sylvain Pallier. I'm the community manager at Master the Handpan, joined by my cousin, friend, and colleague, David Charrier. How's it
Hello,
going?
everybody. So cool to be here tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. Already 50 people just on this first second. It's going to be
That's
great.
right. And a very special guest, Amy Naylor. Amy, hello. Um,
Hello.
Thanks for
Oh,
being with us and bringing us today's workshop. We're going to give you a proper introduction in just a moment. But first, let me share my screen and share a couple of details about what it is we're doing this week. So, happy Fantastic Week, everybody. Uh, this is our Black Friday event. We are raffling 10 handpins to win. We're doing 7 daily live streams. This is 6 out of 7. We're giving away 10 yearly passes to the Academy, which is our membership program. And you can enjoy the lowest prices of the year with up to 60% off individual courses and the membership on our website. You've seen them throughout the month. These are the 10 instruments we are giving away. Huge shout out to these makers. We got them in the studio in both Germany and France, and our two Davids, Dave and David, recorded demos. So go to our website on masterthehandpan.com and handpandojo.com and enjoy discovering these different scales, materials, and most importantly, try your luck at winning one of these beautiful instruments. Today, we are going to interact mostly through the chat, so please locate the chat and type the name of your handpan maker. Type the name or the company name of the person or team who made your instrument. And we will look at those names in just a moment. So, what are we doing today? While you type that in the chat, this is a teaching workshop. We do this every month on Master the Handpan in our village, what we call the Handpan Village. It's our private community that you get the keys to when you become a member. And today we're doing this workshop for free. So you get a glimpse of what happens every single month on our platform. And if you like it, we hope that you'll give us a try and jump on the handpan train in the village. And let's take a look at the chat and see where all these handpans came from.
Wow.
Let's see. Let me scroll through. So, I've got a lot of introductions, hellos.
oh, I found some. There you go. Boom.
Mag, awesome.
There's so many.
Mary.
Meridian,
Yes.
Ayesa.
Oh, Duncan.
Got some original hungs
Oh,
in the
la la.
house. Yatao, Handpan, Zephyr. A lot of great names. Friends we recognize. Baopan is a good friend of Dave's.
Yeah.
Um,
Good
so,
stuff.
guys, why am I asking you this? Well, because we're handpan nerds and we could only do this thanks to the people who make our instruments. And today in the United States is Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving for all of you who are gathering with family and friends. And we want to take this opportunity to invite you along on this mini gratitude challenge. So the goal, we've got a section in our village for this. The goal is for you to send a thank you note to your maker and to post that in the village in our forum. And we're just gonna fill this day. It started at midnight yesterday and it's ending at midnight tonight with gratitude and messages of thanks to our community of makers. Um, so you can do that on your own, or you can do it collectively with us, and we invite you to do that because it's kind of cool and we're all in this together. So thank you for participating to this little icebreaker question. So what to expect today? Once I'm done with this short introduction, we're going to have a teaching workshop for about 45 minutes with a Q&A at the end, and then we'll wrap up with some announcements. If that sounds good, we will move right along and introduce today's teacher. Amy is a rising star of the handpan world. I think your handle on social media is Amy Naylor Smiles, and look at that smile. And I think the first thing your first impression with the handpan world is that enthusiasm and that energy. So thank you for inviting in and for being enthusiastic about this art form and this community. You're from England, and you just came back. You're still jet lagged from a few days in the United States. So don't snooze in today's workshop. We'll keep you on your toes. But yeah, Amy is a passionate teacher, a great educator, and she has a course on Handpan Dojo. And as you've heard this entire month, we're merging. We are joining forces with David Kuckerman and the Handpan Dojo camp, this strong corner of the handpan world. And so we're so delighted to bring you, Amy Naylor, and that course on Master the Handpan. So without further ado, I'm going to give the floor to Amy. Amy, thank you so much for teaching
Thank you, Amy.
us, and take it away.
Yay! Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. That was such a wonderful welcome. And thank you everybody who's here in the chat. It's kicking off. This is amazing. It's super cool to see. First of all, I'm going to apologize for this that I'm going to be doing throughout the session. I have a slightly different setup to usual, and my monitor is over on this side, so I'm going to be checking out the chat over here. So the plan for today's workshop is something that I've been doing quite a bit live, but not online. So this is an experiment. I want to create a composition together-ish, or at least have you help me lead the beginning part of that, and then run with it and talk you through my entire process, so that you can kind of compose along with me and come up with your own stuff. And if you are in the village, or if you're on Instagram or whatever, and you come up with something of your own, I would love to see what you play, and hear what you play. So if you're willing to share, that would be amazing too. So the first thing that I need is to fill in this. This is an empty groove right now. So my invitation to you, while I just have a little jam quickly here and warm up my hands, is if you could give me a number, and I guess the boys will be in charge of displaying to me one of those numbers between, thank you, between 1 and 8, and hopefully yours will get picked. Then I'm going to put something in that space in this groove. So any number between 1 and 8. Yes, and I'm teaching on a D chord here today. This is from Meridian Handpans. So my love letter goes to Meridian today. Yeah. Oh, here they come. Here comes the numbers. 2 and 2 and 7. 2 and 7. Okay. Hold it there. 2 and 7, 8. Okay. So 2 and would actually technically be 3. So here's what I'm gonna do. If you can see, let's put. So I'm gonna be choosing between a ding sound, a doom, and a tack sound. I'm gonna notate my ding with one of these, and I'm gonna notate my tack with a T. So we had 7 and 8, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, which was the 2 and of the 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's put a tack here and a ding here. So I'm kind of just like, yes, I had some part of this process, but I'm just kind of randomly deciding, do I want a ding or a tack, right? And this is a cool way if you're feeling uninspired and you want to create something, or you want to practice something you've never practiced before, but you don't know, like you've gone through all of the grooves that exist on Master the Handpan. First of all, I don't believe that for a second. But if you have and you don't know what to do, you can start to randomly generate your own, right? So we have something really, really simple here at the moment, although deceptively might be quite tricky because we don't have anything on the downbeat. I will need more numbers soon, but for now I'm okay. Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you to my beautiful assistant. I appreciate you. So what I'm going to do in these in-between spaces is put some little ghost notes here. Bonus points if you've got your handpan out already and you can already play this before I can. There you go. So we've got ghost, 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 ding, ghost, ghost, tap, ding, ghost, 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 ding, ghost, ghost, tap, ding, ghost, 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 ding, ghost, ghost, tap, ding, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Has anybody managed to get that yet? So the first half here is literally just ghost, 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 ding, right? So I'm playing right, left, right, ding. So it's, by its nature, it's easy, but because we're not starting on that heavy, that downbeat, it can kind of throw us off a little bit. That's the fun of these randomly generated grooves, right? Ding, ghost, 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 ding, 3, and here we go, ghost, 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 ding, again, dum, dum, da, 1, 2, 3, again, dum, dum, da, 1, 2, 3, again, ghost, 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 ding, 1, 2, 3, again, ghost, 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 ding, 3, and again, ding, dong, ga, oops, da, again, 1 and 2 and 2. Let's add the end, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Whoops, I missed a ding. And 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Nice. So now we have a rhythm, right? I often find it a little bit tricky when I have a groove to then launch into composition, because the cool thing about the ding is that it's so percussive and there's lots of fun stuff going on, but it's also a note, right? And as soon as we're grooving on a note, how do we get away from that melodically, right? I can start floating around, but now the problem is that I have a little bit of groove and a little bit of melody, and then a little bit of groove, and then a little bit of melody, right? So what I'm going to try and do in this specific composition is step away from this idea of, cool, look at this cool groove, and try and integrate everything together so that right from the get-go, we're combining all of these different elements, groove, harmony, melody, maybe I've got a bass line, whatever that is, to create something that's interesting and dynamic and has a lot going on, right? So the beautiful thing about this is that what we've just created, this is kind of perfect. It's almost like it was planned, but it wasn't. Is that we have a blank space right here. Usually when I start grooving kind of on my own off the bat, I'll put a ding right on the one, right? Doom, ga, doom, doom, ga. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and so on and so forth. However, we have all of this space at the beginning here before the groove kicks in. That's just the way that you threw numbers at me, right? It's the way that David or Sylvan or whoever it was chose to share those numbers on screen. So we can use this space. We can use this space to start to introduce some chordal elements. If you've been following this week's workshops already, you might have already done some chords work. I know Baran did some stuff, and maybe with Rosie as well yesterday. My top view camera has just died, so you're going to have to look at my face for a while. So I'm going to replace that 1 with some kind of chord. What might that chord be? I don't know. Anybody know your chords on a D chord? And if you do, throw one out to me. Do you know any chord names? Could be D minor, could be F major, could be G minor. I see a G minor. Oh, I see a B. Okay, the decision is made. I briefly saw a G minor. That might come back. All right, so we don't have a B chord on the D chord, but we do have a B flat. We have a flattened version of a B. Oh, there's the G. All right, that can come after. So let's see. The groove I have is this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and if you want to follow along with me, make sure you've really got this groove in your body. That's what I'm doing right now. And pretending that this is for you, but I'm just really trying to get this groove embodied. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 4. Now, some people are already giving me full progressions. Amazing. Okay, so on that 1, here comes this B flat major chord. And for me, that is note 2, 4, and 6 on my handpan. So basically kind of all of the notes on this left-hand side. If you're on a different scale, you can find any shape that you like the sound of. Oh, look at this! We have notation on screen. This is incredible. Can I have you guys at all of my workshops? This is amazing. Okay. So on that 1, this is so good. This is so good. I'm having a great time already. Okay. On that 1, sorry, distracted. We're going to put that B flat major chord. So now, and I'm going to take it nice and slow, we have this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and... Oh, what was that about a G minor at some point? Ooh. That's got some spice to it. And then we can bring it back to the B major, B flat major. Okay. So now that I've started playing, this is where the inspiration starts to come in, right? We've had the randomly generated groove. We've had a randomly generated simple chord pattern. I haven't put it into a progression yet. I've just practiced those 2 chords, right? So if you're on a different scale or you want to create something different, I invite you to choose 2 chords for now, I suppose, that you like the sound of. But now that I'm hearing it, my hands and my body want to do something slightly different, right? Now I want to step out of that randomness a little bit because I'm starting to hear things that could be cool. And one of those things is replacing this 2 here I want a tack. I want a nice little tack there. I feel like I need a lead in into the ding sound, you know? Ga, go, goom, ga, di, 4, 1, 2, ga, doom, 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 ga, doom, doom, ga, doom. I feel like that sounds kind of, I don't know, kind of groovy, kind of funky. So let's see what that sounds like with that. And in fact, let's even, while we're notating, let's put a nice little X here to denote that we've got a chord at the beginning. Ta-da! Let me know if you're figuring something out already. It's a song name. I want a tack. All right, I'm writing it down. Here we are. This is it the first? Maybe not. I don't want to claim that. Pantastic week group composition is called I Want a Tack.
Just claim it.
I'm claiming it. It's not even finished yet, and we have one. All right. So now we've got, I'm going to play each chord twice. B flat, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Oh yeah, I like that. G minor. Oh, I love it. Oh yeah. So the G minor chord, since I didn't show you already, let me just finish this musical sentence, is notes 2, 4, and 7. Note 7, the G up here. Exactly. So the cool thing about these two chords as well that magically came out here, it's almost as if this was planned. This is so good. Is that you have continuity between these chords. So when I'm composing, and particularly when I'm thinking about the movement of chords, I want to be thinking about each individual note and their relationship to each other as I move around the instrument. So oftentimes when you play one chord and another chord, and every single note is completely different from the chord you just played. For instance, if I play a D minor here and then I play a C over here, I'll do it without groove. It's cool. I mean, everything sounds cool on a handpan, so. But it sounds a little bit disconnected. It almost sounds a little bit elementary. It's almost like when you're first learning to play the keyboard and you play these two notes and then these two notes all the way over here, right? But if you've got one note in common, so for instance, let's say I'm playing a D minor and an A minor, and there is a note in common here, but here I'm still choosing to play notes opposite the pan, right? Which still has that disconnect. However, if I change the way that I structure the chord, if I invert the chord a little bit, and by that I mean I take this top note up here, which is an A, and I find on my D chord, on all D chords, you have a lower version of that A, right? It's the same note, but it's an octave apart. It's in the same place on a keyboard. You see those repeating patterns on a keyboard, but it's an octave apart, right? So instead of playing that top A on my D minor, if I play the low A, then when I change to my A minor, you can hear that I've got this note in common all the way through, and that acts as a really nice thread between that chord progression, and it really just like holds it together. a question that I get a lot in terms of like composition and improvisation is, especially composition, is people say, I have this idea and this idea. How do I connect the two ideas? There are ways that you can create threads, create through lines that hold that together. And this is one of them, right? So having some kind of note in common that helps to transition between those ideas. So I completely went off track to demonstrate that, but you get the idea there, right? So instead of playing this high A, playing this low A. So now, even when I change chord, it's still there. Dum dum, da dum dum dum. Excellent. I'm glad you understand the idea. Very good. So what we've accidentally done in our composition here is we had this B flat major, and look at my hands as I change to G minor. Only one thing is changing. So now we've got this nice through line. It holds together. It sounds really cool. So when I put that back into the context of the groove, you can hear this note still there, still there even, still there now. Oh, this one's also there, even when I change chord, keeping it together. I'm having too much fun. All right, cool. So actually, what we've also kind of got, now that we've separated those two things, is we've almost got the beginning of some kind of melody here as well. So now I've got groove, I've got harmony, and I'm starting to accidentally slip into a little bit of melody here because we were only changing one note of that chord so far. I could play it differently if I wanted to. I've got bottom notes on my D chord. So I've got a low G, same thing. I've also got a low F, right, same chord. So I could play these two chords like this. Which is also quite nice. This is so good with the notation. Yeah, thank you. Oops, I didn't change chord. I kind of like the sound of that as well, so I'm gonna keep that idea. I'm gonna come back to this melody though. We have this note, and then it moves to this note. Maybe it could do something in between, somewhere in this groove, to help it move to that next chord at some point. So let's see, what can I do with that? So we've got chord, and then I've got a little bit of space until the next part of the groove, right? Gap, dum, space, space, gap, dum, gap, dum, something here, gap, dum, something there, gap, dum, something there, gap, dum. I'm gonna play this around a couple of times. This is especially for you guys with a D chord. I'm just gonna play it around a few times without anything in that space, and I want you to experiment with putting something in there to help transition into that chord before I give you any ideas. Thinking about what we've already talked about in terms of how we can create some kind of through line, right? So at the moment, we discussed keeping a note the same or two notes the same to help aid that transition. But we can also think about direction and the shape that we're making on the instrument. So how can we be intentional with the shapes that we're making in order to physically kind of arrive at the next note, right? That's the idea we're kind of thinking about. So I'm just going to play that round a few times. If you're on a different scale, feel free to like mute me for a moment so that you can experiment on your own. I won't be offended. And then when you're done, I'm going to come up with my idea. And let's see. So E flat into G. Dum, ga, dum, ga, dum, B. Space, space. Something here. one note, something there. And if playing all these things together is already too much, let me play the chords and rhythm, and play your own notes in between. Yeah, something there. Oh, here. Something here. That's my idea. Oh, but there's a problem with my idea. See if you can hear what the problem with my idea is now that you've experimented. Listen. What's wrong with this? Or maybe not wrong, but a challenge for sure. Maybe you've guessed it. I just offered this idea to you of playing something on the 3 and, right, in that space in between, to add some melody to your rhythm. But then as I was playing, as I was playing and singing my idea, I had an idea come to mind and then I sang it. The problem was that was happening, what I was singing was happening over here on E4 on the end, right? How on earth am I going to play that when there's already something happening? Well, let's find out. That's the joy of composition as well, is particularly when I first started playing handpan, I didn't like practice. I know as a teacher, as an online teacher, and as a teacher for Handpan Dojo and now Master the Handpan, probably shouldn't say this, but hate practice. But the way that I got around it was through composing, and I would come up with things that I had to figure out how to play. It was the slow version of learning how to play an instrument, for sure, such a long route, but it helped me dive into ideas that I otherwise wouldn't. So let's figure out then. Da-da. First, I need to find that melody. Oh, that melody isn't even available up there on the instrument. Okay, now we have to learn how to do another thing.
That's the B flat 4.
That's the B flat 4. We wish we had it. We wish we had it. We need smaller. Either we need C sharp chords or we need smaller D chords. Just saying. Just putting it out there. Anyway. So, okay, the first hurdle that we need to get over now, or that I need to get over with this composition, is how to find a B flat 4 when I don't have one. What does that mean? Da, this note. I don't have it, right? It's not available. And the reason it's not available is because it's a really tricky note to build on these instruments. It's I won't go into it, but it wouldn't sound nice. So we just don't have them. But we can kind of access it through harmonics, right? So I'm going to have to do that now. It's almost like we planned it. I wish we hadn't planned this one. Now I have to play a B flat 4. And I must say I'm not a master of harmonics. I'll tell you someone who is. Daniel Baird, who does lots of cover songs. He's incredible. He's mastered harmonics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find, to get the octave above this B flat here, I'm going to mute the shortest line on this tone field. So all tone fields are oval in shape, right? You have a short axis, you have a long axis. I'm going to place a finger along the short axis, and I'm going to strike the long axis, and there are two ways. I feel like I can access it better up top here. So I'm going to mute the short, strike the long. When I'm muting the short, I'm not pressing in, I'm just resting. When I strike the long, I'm kind of just playing around until I find the point where it really shines through. And now I have access to that higher register, that higher range, right? So when I'm trying to create this melody, da-da, da, I can play it like this. So now, without the groove, I could also cheat and just play the lower register, like this. Then I could utilize those lower notes that we explored before to make that make more sense, right? Oops. But if I want the higher melody, there it is. I think I'll do it two-handed. Okay, so now we're accessing those harmonics to get that melody. There's another problem with this though, which you've already spotted, which was the original problem that I thought I had, not the problem that arrived, which is the fact that it's happening on the 4 and, right? There's already groove happening there. So what do I do with that? Well, initially I thought I could just play the groove and the melody with each hand, which we can do. Well, let's do that with the lower register. Let's figure that out first. So what I'm going to have to do now is learn how to play this note here, which is the B flat, at the same time as playing the tack sound on the edge of on the shoulder of the ding. And then the A, the lowest note in front of me, at the same time as the ding sound, because I already have these notated, right? It's totally possible. So now I'm practicing hand independence a little bit here, by accident, to my annoyance. So now, before I can carry on with this composition, what I need to practice is the transition from the end of this bar to the beginning of the next bar, so that I can really nail that. Right? See how that's coming in at the same time as the groove there. I've just thought of another solution to this problem, actually. And before I get there, I'm just going to try and get this top angle working. Let's see if it works. Maybe we're in, maybe we're not. Who knows? And then I can show you what I'm doing there a little bit more clearly.
Yeah, we'll stall while you do that. And I hope everyone out there realize that this is quite a vulnerable exercise to follow the melody and to take your cues to write something. And welcome to Handpan. We don't have all the notes in the high or the low register, but I love how Amy is choosing to follow the melody, which also means having to really work around your left and right hands, and even the shape and the layout of your instrument, and contort your body to make that transition work. And it's quite a satisfying feeling when you make it work. But what you are witnessing right now is the process, and it's so cool to have an insight into that. So, Amy, thank you for being vulnerable and letting us in the process.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you for being witness to it as well. I appreciate that. And trusting that process as well. I don't know how many people are here right now, but if you've stuck around for this long, well done.
Millions.
Millions. Because it's a process. And especially in the beginning, when you're earlier in your journey, and there are lots of these shapes that your body's not used to making, it takes a little while. You have to really like stick it through and practice those things over and over and over and over again before it becomes natural, right? And lots of ways to do that is to just dive into the exercises like this kind of thing, right? Practicing scales and grooves and like just specific exercises you can practice to get to that point of comfort, which we can go into maybe at some point. But yeah, there's something really fun about just diving into that creative process and finding your edges, right? And being willing to step out of those edges. I know that a lot of us, when we pick up the instrument, the first thing we do is go into a groove that we're familiar with. And mine is. Right? I'm always falling into that when I play. So yeah, I always recommend, like, a big part of my practice now, I like practice now, by the way, I love it, is drills are super important. Integration of those drills is super important, but also free play is super important. And that creative practice there that comes with that, or the kind of this more structured free play, if you like, that's where the gold happens. That's more important than you may realize. So that's what we're doing here. Anyway, so we had this issue of we don't have all of the notes that we want that we can hear, right? Yes, roll the dice. Exactly. I thought of a solution, and it's so obvious now that I say it out loud. I could just use my voice, which I was already doing. Maybe this is out of your comfort zone, but that's what we're here to do, step out of our comfort zone, right? So if you've come up with a melody on your own that is different from mine, I invite you, yes, play it if you're able, but also see if you can sing it at the same time, because that is creative and fun, but also a really good practice in embodying the music and actually really solidly getting to know your handpan. I don't recommend singing just because it's nice to sing and we should all be singers, which is true, but also because it's just the perfect way to embody the music that you're playing and really, really fully understand the instrument that you're playing as well. So, and I have one of those notes. I can just play that one note. Slow it down. And I'm trying to get that ding in that note at the same time. Yes, D-Cud Love. It's a beautiful scale. Yeah, nice. On that note, actually, as well, there's so much, like, D-Cuds are not just have to be that all the time. There's so many beautiful beautiful things you can find in the D code. They're amazing. Okay, cool. So I've made my decision. I've experimented with finding the lower register of that melody. I've experimented with utilizing harmonics for that melody. If I was on my own, maybe I would continue with that path because that challenges me the most, right? That's my edge. I'm not very good at harmonics yet. I'll say that, right? I need to do that more. So maybe that is actually a really good opportunity for me to lean into that more. So if that was me on my own, and if you found something that you struggle with, lean into that edge. For now, though, I'm going to lean into another edge, which is singing melody without words, because that's another way that we can utilize that melody. So for now, I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to sing the melody just for the purpose of this workshop today. And if you've got your own, I invite you to sing yours as well. So then, we have this, but at the moment, it doesn't really feel like it has its own melody. It feels like it's kind of still stuck in this loop a little bit. So for the last 10-15 minutes or so, let's see if we can start to get out of this loop and start to find some more interesting melodies. Maybe we can start to utilize this space in between a little bit. I like that 3 there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 3. So maybe on the first time around, I can play that. And then the second time around, when I'm on this G chord, It means I have to sing the whole thing for it to make sense that I sing the second half. But that's okay, I can sing the whole thing. So you see what I've done here? On the B flat, I've introduced a different melody, something that's a little bit kind of arrives in a place you don't expect, so to give it some interest. And then on the second half, I'm going back to what I came up with before. Now, what's most important about this melody is that it's got direction. It starts high, and then it goes up a little bit, but not as high, before moving back down and settling back onto that B flat major chord. So I'm thinking about direction, right? Usually in composition, when thinking about melody, a really common way to create intrigue and dynamic and that shift there is to start with the melody a little bit lower and then throughout the composition, bring it higher. That's a really standard way to compose. Here I'm doing the opposite. I'm actually starting high and coming low. So maybe at some point I could introduce another section that starts even lower. Light bulb happening. We do have another section that starts lower. Oh, this is brilliant. The vibration of singing is good for your health. It is. Here. All right, so light bulbs happening. Remember this. That's a low melody. And what happens? But I should have been singing. So I brought that low melody now and jumped all the way up to that high melody to have that sudden opening there, that, whoa, something happened, something opened. And I can introduce that. There are a few ways that you can have that shift from low to high. One is to walk your way up there, thinking about direction, right? So something like Oops, I missed it. Something like that, so you're working your way up. Another way is to just bang, dive right in. And I really like the idea of starting with that high C up there on the 3. So it kind of arrives when you're not expecting it, right? And I can start singing with that as well. So it's like, whoa, something's happening. So a couple times around. But that usually happens. Okay, so what about this? There it is. Okay, all right, I can work on that transition a little bit, I think. But I'm, deliberately going for that, like, low and mysterious and moody, and quieter and dynamic as well, which I didn't do, but I like it. And maybe I can take away some of that melody a little bit. Allow space to make it even more interesting. And I can introduce those ghost notes to make the groove more interesting. Bring the dynamic up, or something's gonna happen. What's it gonna be? It was a shift, that's what was gonna happen, right? So I'm using dynamics here to try and create that anticipation, create even more movement, even though I have very little composed at this point. I've just got 2 chords and a really bare melody and a groove. Actually, that's quite a lot, but it doesn't take up that much time and space, right? So what I'm having to do now is really dive into how I can make that as interesting as humanly possible before I move on to another idea. That's another thing I always recommend in composition, is a lot of people have this idea and this idea and this idea and this idea, and they're all really cool, but how do we link them together, right? So first of all, we have to dive into all of the potential elements of each section so that we can pick apart what's similar about those sections, what's different about those sections. Oh, this part kind of is the same. Let's put those together. There's the through line, right? So yeah, my next step here, and I don't want to go into it too much because I don't want to go super into time. We have time. But my next step here would be to probably find another couple of chords. So I've got a B section maybe. So I could do something like, we haven't got any D minor chords in this yet, which is funny because this instrument is in D minor. At the moment, it's almost got that kind of, we're in the G, so it's got that like La Sirena kind of thing happening. Right, it's got that nice jazzy thing going on. But we could release that tension and bring it to the D minor. That could be kind of cool. So what happens then? And the reason that releases the tension is because our home chord in this particular scale is the chord that's the same as the ding, which is the same in most scales except for pygmies. And because we've never been there yet, this whole hour that we've been composing together, it's like, where are we going? Where are we going with this? What's going to happen next? Right? So maybe I should release it. Maybe not, but maybe I should. Let's see what happens if I do. So we've got this. Whoops. like it there. It actually feels like a complete shift. I really do feel at home on this G now. So maybe to get there then, we tried that quick jump with the melody, which worked really nicely. But you hear I had that moment of, oh, no, I don't like the sound of that. So now I need to find a way to get there if I want to do it at all. I could just cut my losses and say, that sounded gross, not doing it. Or I could experiment and improvise and see if I can find a way to make it sound good. Let's see, let's find out. So we're on that G chord. Did we get there? Maybe? So I went from G to C, and I didn't feel quite ready. So then I went back to the B flat, and then I couldn't think of another chord, so I just went back to C again. That was my thinking. And then I went to D minor, and I've got that groove still going, right? Okay, so got those chords remembered. Let's see if I can make that happen, right? So we're on this. How am I gonna start this? Actually, I think it needs to happen quicker. I think I should just do it. Yeah, it doesn't need anything too crazy and fancy and complicated. What was I thinking? It can be much easier. I'll just do a B flat, a C, and then we're in. And now what I've done is I've created room for myself. I've gone from this randomly generated little mini composition here. I've forced myself to find a way in there to make something good, right? Which hopefully you're all still working on your own scales as well. And then I've secretly gone, I kind of just want to groove it out. So I found a way to get back to my home chord, which I never had in the beginning because of the nature of this whole process. Found a way to get to that home chord. And now, thinking right back to the beginning, what we talked about. Yes, nice. What we talked about with the problem with groove, right? The problem with grooving on the ding is that you end up stuck in this one root note all of the time. Where do I go from there? How do I find any movement there when we're always grounded in this one thing, right? But actually, sometimes that's kind of fun as well. So once we've practiced stepping away from that, we can use the energy that we've just created to make that one groove, that drone on that home note, actually just feel really good, to feel like a release, to feel like, oh, thank goodness for that, you know? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some ways to fill out this groove a little bit. I'm just going to improvise around it to make that a bit more interesting. One way to do that is to acknowledge the space in between these notes, right? So at the minute we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but what we could have, and the same tempo, is 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and just acknowledging the space between the numbers and the ands. That's all I'm doing. Nothing else has changed. And I can put some ghost notes in there, in those spaces, to make it sound a bit more dynamic, a bit more fun, right? So let's go from here it comes. Yeah. Right? Now I've got all of this room to I was going to say something rude, and I'm not going to, to just have fun with it and to add those in-betweens and to explore, right? Of course, straight away, that's not going to be easy. It's not going to just roll like super quick, right? We need some kind of activity to figure out how we can do that. So say I'm not used to like fast grooves at this point, but I know I really want it. Then what I'm going to do is take a step back from where I'm at in my composition and think about what I talked about earlier with this drills, integration, free play in our practice routine. I think I learned that from David Kuckerman, actually, which you might learn with him tomorrow. So I'm thinking about that idea. I'm in free play right now. How can I step back and think, I can't play freely with what I want to do. I need to create some kind of drill, some kind of exercise that will allow me to get to the point where I'm trying to get right now. So I'll take it all the way back. I really want to groove, and I want to groove fast. So maybe I need to practice some doubles here, my right and left hand. Maybe I need to practice some split hand with my right and left hand. Yeah, I do. Right, I'm thinking of drills to get my speed up to speed. Maybe I need to practice putting those in-betweens in there. Same thing. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just putting the left hand in between. So it sounds faster, but it's not. Same the other way around. Wow, I really need to work on that one. Right, so I literally have just come up with that in this moment off the top of my head, because when I got to the groovy part of this composition, I couldn't play what I wanted to play. I needed to warm up my hands, practice something that's going to get me there. And that can be an exercise from somewhere on Master the Handpan that's going to get you grooving. That can be a free tutorial on YouTube from somewhere on, I don't know, Amy Naylor on YouTube that's going to get you there. That can be whatever you want it to be, right? You can make it up yourself, practice along to a metronome, find an activity that gets you, say I wanted to practice this moment here. Say I'm playing. Practice playing a groove and a melody at the same time, right? I needed to get those two hands doing different things. So then maybe I need to practice some kind of hand independence exercise that's going to allow me to do that. Right? Practice that for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, practice integration then. So by integration, I mean taking the drill and the idea and then taking the composition idea and finding a way to connect those two ideas together so that you're practicing building that bridge. Then you can come back to your free play, or rather in this case, your composition. And suddenly now you've developed those building blocks to get to where you want to go. This is the beauty of practice. This is why I love it now. It's because I found a way to arrange those building blocks so that I can achieve what it is that I'm trying to achieve. So now we've got a nice harmonic, melodic little idea with some chords that we wouldn't usually start with in this key. And then we found a way to bring it back to the home chord so that we can groove it out. And then I could use the same technique to bring it back to those two chords. Now we've got an A section and a B section. And honestly, that's enough for a composition. That's all you need. You don't need 1,000 ideas. You just need to be able to strip back those ideas to all of its tiny elements. Maybe I can play this groove and just the melody. And I can move it ideas from the first section and putting them into the ideas from the second section, right? So all of these different things you can pull out of what you've come up with. There's 1,000 ideas in that one idea, and then you can start to create and develop and build with that. I'm not going to go any further. I'm going to open the floor for questions, I think, because I will be here for 3 hours if you don't stop me. So yeah, I hope you managed to come up with something.
You make this look effortless, and it's really great to have an insight into the making of a song. So
shout out in the comments, in the chat for Amy Naylor. We've been exploring our instruments, and I think that now you guys can see how much she likes to teach, and it was great. Thank you, Amy, just to explore the process of composing, of finding our way on our instrument. And we just started with those 8 spots, and we put some percussive elements. We fill the gap, sometime yes, sometime no. We create one chord, another one, then we chose the one we wanted the most, and we've been exploring some melodies on top of that. That was handpan music, and that was what we call melodico-rhythmical patterns. We could really see both. Thank you so much. That was powerful. Show some love and energy in the comments for Amy. Thank you so much.
Yay, thank you guys. And if you come up with your own version of this as well, put it in the village or in the comments of this replay, I guess. Put it on Instagram and call it I Want Attack.
I want attack.
That was cool. So many comments are coming in. Thank you, everyone, for following our workshop today. We're going to wrap up with some announcements. If you do have questions, now is the last chance to put them in the chat. But of course, the replay of this workshop will be uploaded in the Handpan Village, and Amy's on there, and she can answer your questions after the fact. That's how it goes. Every single month, you have access to our teachers in our private forum. And so that is no different from for today's workshop. While we collect those next couple of questions, and Amy, you can take note of those, let us remind you what's happening this week. It is Pantastic Week.
Yeah.
Happy Pantastic Week. Dave, what is Pantastic Week and what is going on this week?
Pantastic Week is an amazing name that my dear now colleague, David Kay, found last year. He was doing this. He's been doing that for quite a few years. He was calling that event around Black Friday the Pantastic Week. And when we decided to merge and to do a bit of life together, I was like, I remember that name you had for this festival thing. Let's do it again. I really like this. Pantastic Week is then a week full of music and good stuff to listen, to raffle out, to win, and to learn. We have all these workshops that we've been doing. We have one more, right? Tomorrow. We'll see that in details later on. We have some handpans to raffle, 10 handpans to win. Guys, we are well surrounded. We have a lot of friends and makers who generously donated some instruments. You know what? They just want people to be happy and to be able to have a free instrument. We got those live stream so that you can get a little glimpse of what it is to be part of the adventure of Master the Handpan Dojo and the village. We have some workshops every month on the village like this one. And this Pantastic Week is also an opportunity for you to get the best price of the year. We're not this kind of brand who is always discounting things, because we really value the knowledge, the efforts, all these years of studies of all our teachers. So, but once a year, we're like, let's try to give the best price to the people so that they can jump on the adventure of the academy or buy some master classes a la carte, individual courses. But we want to have some discounts for you guys to enjoy playing, learning. And as you can see, learning has to be fun, and it is fun. And fun and discipline can be together. They are not opposite, and this is what we like and what drives us at Master the Handpan. So happy Fantastic Week, everyone. Enjoy. We are running these discounts only for a few days. I think it's ending on
Maybe
Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah, Sunday
So
night, midnight.
Sunday. So yeah, enjoy.
So you keep hearing about the Academy. What is the Academy? It's our membership. When you become a member, there's kind of two big things that we're doing. There's lessons. There's a lot of work that happens in the background to find artists who are good educators, like Amy, who have the chops, but also the desire, the enthusiasm. So video lessons, our course library on the one hand, and on the other hand, it's community. So when you think of Master the Handpan Academy, just think of courses and community. And so what that entails is our course library is ever growing. Right now we have 27 teachers, 34 courses, 150 hours of content, of teaching, learning content, and 4 new releases per year. And then that community aspect, we created our own forum. That may be surprising to you if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube. Old on forums, old school. Well, we believe that these social media platforms, they're not really the right environment to go deep, to take our time, to listen to one another. And so we've created this private space where people encourage each other, and you're not in a rush. There's no spam, no ads, no trolls. It's all kind of the best next thing to being in person. Now we're not in person, right? And it would be better, like on this call. You know, Amy's in England, Dave's in France, I'm in the US. Of course, it would be better to be in person.
Yeah.
But this is better than nothing. And we don't want you to replace your in-person jam sessions or your in-person lessons. But if you're looking for community, for handpan community, we are building an environment which we believe is really cool, with monthly happy hours, monthly challenges to kind of spark your imagination, workshops like we had today, and coaching events. And why do we do this? Have you heard there's like a loneliness epidemic? Like people talk about this in the culture. When I meet someone new, I always ask them, what do you do for fun? Because hobbies and leisurely activities are such a big part of life. There are the things that give you joy, that connect you with other people. So it might not be for everyone, but if you are looking for handpan community, music community, we're here for you. We're doing a little bit of life together. Projects are born out of this. And we are driven by the joy of handpan.
And also we created this community platform and everything because we realize we're humans, and humans, there's something when we are all together. There is something happening. We can encourage each other. We can give feedback to each other, receive some feedback. And learning alone is like going to the gym alone. Like, you know, like, I mean, I don't like this. I want to do sport with other people because they can push me, they can encourage me, and learning together is really the best way to grow. And, you know, we're all struggling with discipline. We're all struggling with being constant, having fun, and learning all together really helps to stay motivated. We don't want your handpan to stay in the closet. That's too sad for him. We like handpan music. We want you to learn and to play and to share with others. And we just realized it was a big need not to be alone and be surrounded by peers and people who also want the same thing. So we created it and people love it. And it's pretty active. You can double check online. You're not alone. You're not lost. And there's many people to help you and talk and share.
And of course, it's a handpan community, so most of what we'll talk about and share is has to do with handpan. But you know what? Life happens, and already this is just 1 year old, and we're making long lasting connections. And you know, people are going through stuff. We have people with chronic illnesses. We've got people going through tough times, or on the other hand, people who are on top of the world and they're experiencing a high in their creative journey. And you know, this is great to do a bit of life together. So join us. You are invited and you are welcome. The door is open. And in fact, it's kind of a limited time if you want to get in for the lowest price. We only run these sales once a year just because it's the whole Black Friday thing. We're not trying to force you to spend money that you don't want to spend, but if
Be
you're
wise.
looking
Mhm.
for this kind of community,
Yeah.
join us. And of course, try your luck. When
Oh
you
la la.
purchase a course, you get a raffle ticket. When you sign up for the academy, you get 12 raffle tickets. So
Woo.
the more tickets, the more chances to win. Next week, on December 3rd, we are coming back online to do the big live prize draw. And a lot of people are going to be happy and win a handpan. 6 out of
Wow.
7 live streams. Let me recap what happened this week. All these replays are available online. We started with Baran Yildiz from Down Under in Australia with a workshop on applied theory. We gave you a tour. We were the tour guides for an hour and showed you around the Handpan village. And you can get a sense of what it feels like to be a student on our platform by watching that. Dan Mulqueen, Dan DeMan from New Jersey, broke down some of his iconic grooves. Bob your head along, snap your fingers. It was good as always. We had a fantastic workshop with David, who is
What?
on this call. If you missed that, this was probably the highest level of production we've ever had on a live workshop ever, with pristine sound, 2 camera angles, on-screen tabs, and a super interactive crowd. Like always, you guys are great. Yesterday, from the windy city of Chicago, Rosie Bergonzi taught us, actually kind of introduced to a lot of us this idea that you can play cover. And how fun would it be to play your favorite song on handpan? She's got a methodology, and she walked us through Country Road, a popular song, and you can watch the replay of that. We are just concluding our workshop with Amy Naylor. Thank you, Amy, again for this great chance, this great insight, this great look into the making of a piece. And tomorrow, with the king, David
King,
Kukerji.
the one and only.
You gotta rest, because tomorrow we're gonna experience some of the magic that is David Kukerman's music, and yeah, we're looking forward to that.
It worth mentioning that Amy Naylor is part of our teachers. She has an online course. She's we are talking also. Can we say something, Amy? We have
I
some
mean,
plans. We have some
I don't
plans.
mind.
We have some plans because everyone in us first are loving her way of teaching, and also we're good friends, and this is so important for Master the Handpan, just to be friends together, united, and doing music, sharing what we know, what we learned. And yeah, we have some other projects with Amy and Rosie and many others. But yeah, she has an individual course you can get, or she's also part of the academy. Again, this subscription gives you access to the entire catalog, so you can just explore as we've been doing tonight. You can explore a lot of things with her.
Yep. So thanks again, Amy. Go check out her music, her videos, her course. and a bit of life on her Instagram as well, some updates on the road and whatnot. And with that, let me remind you, the replay will be available. If we didn't get to all your questions, we will get to them. We are over time, and we've got one more workshop tomorrow. So I am going to dismiss us. So roll the music. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Thanksgiving if you're celebrating.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic week.
Headliner tomorrow. Good night.